Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Caira and I am a female founder. My company is called fitmama or fitmama Fitness Inc. for the full title. And it's a digital platform for new mums and new dads, so it's for parents. It's a digital platform offering fitness, health and wellness advice, recommendations, tools, workouts, anything that you can think of that helps a new parent, them as an individual, to embrace a healthy life, a healthy lifestyle. And I thought I would do this little video diary because I'm about to embark on a fundraising round. And I thought it might be quite fun to record how brutal that's going to be, or how enjoyable, or the trials and tribulations. I've got no idea. We're on day one, and this is the first recording that I'm going to do. So to give you a little bit of background, I come from a corporate banking background. I was in corporate banking and retail and business banking for 12 years with the same bank in Scotland. And at the end of 2009, I took a voluntary redundancy package, came out, went to Spain for a couple of months to train as a master personal trainer. The difference there is personal trainer does fitness and exercise. The master part of it adds on lifestyle coaching. Okay, so it gives you a little bit more of a holistic view. So when you come to see me as a personal trainer, it's a little bit more holistic, where we look at lifestyle management as well, not just your working out sets. So I then moved with my then husband to the Swiss Alps, and we together created a company that would be a lifestyle business for us. And what lifestyle business means is we weren't looking to scale anything. We were looking for a very localized business where people would come to us, and we'd do a combination of mountain bike tours, road biking tours, and personal training, Nordic walking, Pilates. So between the two of us, we retrained in all of these different areas, got all of the certification, and set about creating a local business. We did see a lot of the expat community in Geneva, and it was there that I actually started to work very, very closely with new mums. And specifically there in that city, these mums, a lot of them, 50% of them at least, were what is regarded as a terrible terminology. They're regarded as trailing spouses. So they were following their partners to Geneva. Partner was working in the high-paying job, and they didn't have work. They weren't working, and they had decided at that point, this is a good time for us to start a family if we can, and for me to take the extended maternity leave, raise our baby, and then maybe we'll move on to the next expat community, or we'll hang about in Switzerland, whatever they wanted to do. So I was actually working with women who were cash rich and time rich, and was able to really create a super close community in Geneva of English-speaking women. They came from all different countries, but our native language between us was English, who came, did a workout with me, and then we all went together to have a coffee or a croissant, or engage in some non-fitness networking. And it worked completely because all of us were without family, without extended help. We didn't really have anybody around us to help us out. So we clung to each other, and it worked really well. And from there, the idea was really sparked for fitmama, because I was charging a premium price for these classes and a premium price for one-to-one personal training, and getting that money. So people would pay that money. So I was, in a position where I kind of thought, well, what about the concept and idea of taking what we are doing, which is exercise, we're looking at food and nutrition, especially for breastfeeding moms. What should I eat? Should I change my diet because I want to lose this baby weight? What do I need to do? And then the next element from there was onto, I'm feeling depressed. They didn't suffer from postpartum depression, some of them, but they were on the spectrum of baby blues through to postpartum depression, where they were like, well, what's my purpose in life? What am I meant to be doing? I used to be a lawyer when I lived back in wherever they came from. I was an executive. I was a director. You know, I am not personally satisfied changing diapers day in, day out. This, I love my child, but you know, this isn't enough for me. It was a very close, secure network that we were able to express these feelings amongst ourselves without fear of judgment or accusation or bitchiness. So it really worked. And I was a new mum myself at the time with my son. So it really worked for all of us. To take that idea and concept then, I really wanted to say, well, can I take these elements, and these three elements would be the fitness, the exercise part, the health part, which is the food and nutrition, and then this vitality element, which would be non-fitness, non-food, just new mum, help me, give me a community. That element, could I take these three elements and put them to an online digital platform, and could I then integrate fitness technology? And eventually I gathered enough understanding and education around female technology, so femtech. And so that's it. The penny was really dropped at that point, and from acorns I decided, right, I want to try and build this into a business. So at this point I am cash poor, earning enough month to month doing personal training to pay rent and pay bills, but just forever stressed out, worried and anxious about how I'm going to get from one month to the next. Nothing I'd ever experienced before, because in corporate banking that just wasn't my life. My life in corporate banking was Louis Vuitton handbags, dinner out at a restaurant in Edinburgh 2-3 nights per week, and never looking at my bank balance. I had no need to check my bank balance anytime. There was always money in there. So it was an absolute and utter personality sledgehammer onto my life, because it just was night and day to what I'd ever experienced. And very, very tough bringing up a toddler at that point as a single mom. I'd left my husband at that point, and it was really, really tough. So what I did was, I always believed in this concept, and I could never quite see who out there was doing the same. And it was very important for me to make it very clear, I didn't want to be a personal trainer online. I wanted to have an online proposition that could scale, still offering personalized service, offering a subscription model, but scaling it so that this could go global to any country, be translated into any language, and really form a place where new mums could arrive and say, okay, what exercises can I do with split abdominals, weak pelvic floor, leaking breasts from breast milk, without it costing the earth and a kidney for me to pay for that, you know, as a personal trainer? What do I need? What can I do? And I just did not find anything online that really ticked any of these boxes. And that's where the idea for fitmama came. So very niche market, but the niche market and the niche demographic is huge. So don't be mistaken by it's too niche. Never in a million years is it too niche. It's a specific target demographic, but that demographic is huge, especially globally. So by 2016, I was really at a difficult stage in my life in Switzerland with my ex-husband, fighting for custody, fighting for separation, divorce, settlement, all of that absolute garbage that goes on. And by the time 2017 came, I was ready to then say, okay, divorce is through, I have custody of our son. What do I now need to do? Because I see a future in this product more than I see a future doing face-to-face personal training. So I am willing to, at this point now, drop my personal training income and really put everything into this online proposition. I did not find that there was a startup marketplace for female founders in Switzerland. I stand by that today. I see a lot of innovation out there in Switzerland. I see a lot of money floating around for startups. I don't think that I qualify for a majority of that. So I didn't feel it and see it in Switzerland. I just did not. Didn't feel the urge to head back to Scotland, so decided to see if I could find another startup ecosystem that would work particularly well. And through months of research, Vancouver was the target city. I managed to qualify for a work permit, temporary work permit, to move to Vancouver with my son, which I did. And then we went there on what I would describe would be a basic income. So scrapping about constantly and just having enough money to get by. I still had at this point a business in Geneva that was supposed to bring in income. And unfortunately, within about 3 weeks of me arriving, 3 weeks of arriving in Vancouver, that business collapsed, which was a bit of a shock to me, and to be honest, took so long to get my head around. It was insane. Income that I thought was almost guaranteed to come in from there didn't come, and it left this gaping hole of, right, I actually now due people money, clients that have booked in for classes, that income isn't there, personal trainer that was taking over my classes that wasn't able to be paid. And all of a sudden I was put into this turmoil of, oh, I cannot believe it, that this company that I've been building up in Switzerland has just absolutely failed. In the first month that I've been gone, I'm relying on income, but so is the personal trainer that I've left. And so it was a nightmare, really, really tough. Parking that, because that's still not resolved, but parking that to the side for a second, progressing on with fitmama then took me into a position where I was spending days and weeks building a minimum viable product. So the MVP was really, the goal of the MVP was really to say, okay, build a platform or build a product on a platform that fulfills at least the fitness element and some of the vitality element. That health element of food and nutrition is a really tricky one, and I wasn't wanting to put out poor content there. I felt that that needed to be backed up by a dietitian or a postpartum specialist in breastfeeding that at that point I couldn't afford to pay for, just couldn't afford it. So the MVP was really I was very clear on what I was doing with that. It was to set up at least a minimum, the fitness element, and to set up the lifestyle element, the vitality element of a subscription-based model. And from the subscription-based model, to set up a basic membership, which would be entry, low entry for them, and give a no frills version, and then a premium version where you would get far more content, live streaming, things like that. So that was the MVP there. And then I then set about setting up the full 90-day one-to-one personal training plan, which would then be dealt with on a face-to-face via online, probably Zoom sessions. And then I had to bring on board clients. So I did 2 testing groups. One testing group of people that I had trained before who were native English speakers, but from other countries. So maybe I had somebody from the US there, a Canadian, Australia, a Brit, a Scot. So that I could then, and they knew me, I trained them, so they knew my terminology, my dialect, they knew my way of working, they knew all of that, so they could give really good feedback. And then I had a second testing group who had never met me, who didn't know me from Adam. And the reason for testing these 2 groups, the group that knew me loved me, and they were like, we really love her. We've already recommended her as a trainer to all these other people. So I knew that would be really warm leads, but you have to take the ego out of it entirely and say, but okay, well, taking that boost out, are they still getting value for money? Do they feel like it's a program they would pay for, etc., etc.? And then looking at the group who doesn't know me at all, it was to say, can they actually keep on board? If they are doing a subscription-based model and they're getting a 10-minute mini workout every day, are they actually doing the workout? Do they feel like they're part of a community? Are they ticking the box and liking the share, liking the post? Are they sharing that? What are they doing? And it was so interesting because the group that didn't know me did not stay on board. In fact, one of the, I asked for feedback, obviously, the whole way through. They knew they were in a testing group. And one of the mums, she just said, I just don't have a clue what I'm meant to be doing here. Am I meant to be doing the workouts? What am I meant to be doing? So that feedback was critical to tweak and adapt the MVP to make sure that we could get something that actually could earn some money and be continually improved upon. So we then get to the point of business plan. writing the business plan, which really seriously took me a long time to do. I did the narrative version and obviously saved different versions of it, so that as I then changed or tweaked anything, I had the newest version. And then also financial modelling. So from an ex-corporate banking point of view, the modelling I was doing was really to prove two things. One, that this was a viable proposition, and the second thing, that it would make money beyond year one, but also a scaled version. How do we scale, and can we cope with scale, and what does scaling look like? I created a company in Canada, and I took on board 2 board members. I gave them vested equity, small slivers of equity, because one of them comes from a really strong marketing background for a very large company in the US, and she is American. So and she's a mum, and I really wanted to use her experience, knowledge, background as much as possible. So that's why she got a sliver of the equity as a board member. The second board member is an ex-corporate banker with, I don't know how many years of experience. He's a dad, doesn't come from a fit mama background in terms of fitness, so would be somebody that would actually give really good input as to, I don't understand why you would do that, why are you doing that, and also would be able to scrutinise the financial models that we were doing inside out, back to front, and say that doesn't add up, or I don't see where you're getting to that, or you can't guesstimate that figure. So these 2 board members came on board, and then myself to complete the board, leaving space for potential investors to come on board. And then we started to then look at, okay, who do we want to come on board? Now, why do we need investors? That's a serious question for a new startup. Well, this was never meant to be a personal trainer online. So taking one client at a time and onboarding one person at a time was never what I was meant to be doing. Once Canada was done and I returned back into Europe, taking on board one client at a time to an online platform is not the point of fitmama at all, and it's actually not meant to be a fitness app either. It's meant to be a postpartum, post-pregnancy platform, where this would be a platform for new mums, and then eventually we decided new dads, but new mums initially, to come and say, right, okay, I'm really struggling with this part of my life. Is there anybody out there who can help me? So going out for funding is unfortunately the way that most companies get that traction. To self-tract or to get your own traction by just taking one client on at a time really just did not appeal to me. Going out for funding turned into be a bit, the investigation of that part turned into be a bit of a nightmare, because I was not a permanent resident in Canada. I was on a temporary work permit. I was not Canadian, so I wasn't eligible for pretty much anything that was out there. There was nothing out there that I was eligible for. So when you see all these funds that are for female founders and female founders in tech and, you know, underrepresented founders, that I just didn't qualify for any of them. So I couldn't apply. And you then look around your network and you think, okay, this friends and family round that is meant to be your first stepping stone, I just do not want to go there. Why not? I just couldn't, to go to friends and family, you know, the only founder that I've heard and say that, you know, friends and family round for him was not actually a friends and family. It was like people 3 steps away, but were given small checks that would qualify under the friends and family round, is Casey, and I'm going to pronounce his surname wrong, Casey Neisant, YouTube creator extraordinaire. Very, very good startup story that he has. But aside from that, I wasn't really, you know, thinking about who can I get and tap into in my network. I was also really conscious about the fact that I had this business in Geneva that had outstanding finances to tie up. You know, letting down these clients I found really, really tough, a real blow, because I wasn't really able to go out publicly and say, great, can I go for funding now for fitmama? Because I was thinking, God, I need to be paying them back for like 7 class passes that they have. We're talking about such small money. But when you're scrapping about, bootstrapping a business, you don't have this small money. So these 20, 30, $40 or 100 francs or 700 euros, you don't have access to that money. And when you're overseas as a startup as well, you don't have access to capital. You have no credit cards, you have no loans that you can get. I mean, really, you're in no man's land, literally no man's land. So the only way to kind of get yourself to the next stage is through revenue. And that's really tough because you're then relying on your small number of existing clients saying, I'm going to recommend you to 10 of my friends and hopefully at least one of them will pick up one of the subscriptions. So when you're in that very, very early stage of startups where you've got an MVP, it is working and you do have a few paying clients, you've onboarded a lot of people for free to test out the product and to see if it works okay, you're then in a position of going, okay, how do I get to the next stage? VC funding was something clearly that I looked at in great depth, and to be brutally honest, coming from a finance background, I cannot think of anything worse than going into VC funding, purely because once you start the VC rounds, you are in this hamster wheel of raising money, exit, raising money, exit, raising money, exit, and then you're at the point of saying, well, I need to kind of strategize. Am I wanting to exit my business in 6 years and sell out to the likes of Nike, Adidas, MyFitnessPal? What's my end goal here? And at that point, I was kind of more along the lines of looking at a Lorna Jane type thing, where I'm like, well, this is a business I want to be in for as long as I don't have an exit strategy. And VCs just cannot stand people who say, oh, I don't know, I don't think I've got an exit strategy. So VC funding just did not appeal. I had an off-the-record conversation with a VC administrator, if you like, or scout maybe would be the better idea. And she, off the record, said to me, don't go for VC funding. And I was like, okay, well, you've pretty much summed up what I think, so I don't think I will. Next thing then is you're really then saying, okay, it's business angels that I need to go for. So these business angels are one step ahead, above friends and family round. And that's really what I thought, okay. So I then started to create what's called a crowd equity fundraise fund pot within shares in fitmama. So at the moment, I'm a 98% shareholder. The slivers of shares are given to my 2 board members. And I then said, okay, let's do a crowd equity fundraise and we'll do it ourselves. We don't need to put this onto a platform, because when you go onto one of these platforms where you're raising funds on a crowd fund, you get an all or nothing, usually. So you've got to have all of your objective met before the funds are released. And we really didn't want that. We wanted a rolling fund, which was an all or something. So if I raised 20K, then I raised 20K. I got to take that 20K out and use that 20K. And the point of fundraising was purely for marketing, PR marketing, the sales side of things, and also for any sponsorship. So sponsoring any corporate events where we could then tap into the B2B vertical. The second point was that going for funding could then allow me to start looking at creating our own platform rather than use a third-party platform. And the third element was really to look at what key skills am I missing that I need for this company. Sales is an absolute massive one. And also probably somebody who's in IT, and probably getting a different style of trainer so that I can start to enrich or boost up the fitness element. And then also to then start bringing on board contractors or contributors to fitmama, whether it be maybe food, nutrition, postpartum physiotherapy, things like that. So the funding was really going to be specific. I had estimated that year 1 fundraise that we needed to do to get us really going would be $250,000. That's the number that I came to. That's the number that I really wanted. So alongside the board members, we then created a crowd equity fundraise plan. all the documentation for that. Pitch decks were done. I hate pitch decks. I'm a hater of pitch decks. The pitch decks were done. And then I also created a web page, and I'm going to show you this web page because somebody the other day said they really liked the sound of this. So this is the web page that I created. It's under Invest. It's password protected. And basically this page says we're open for investors, and it tells you what our goal is, and it takes you through what it is that we do, how to log in, how does it work. And then right at the very bottom, once you understand a little bit about the company, you get everything that we've done so far. And then what does 2020 and beyond look like? What are our goals, our 6 key areas that we are looking to achieve? Blue sky dreaming, what do I see us doing? Where do I want to go? Who the team are? And then cut to the chase, what we're looking for. And it's actually looking at what's our ideal scenario, next scenario would be, next ideal scenario, and then our final scenario would be, and then it takes you down to a bit, I'm in, and you can then, get in touch with us, okay? So this I'm in part, I think this should take you, yeah, it does. It takes you to an email. So from here, you are then sending an email and you are getting in touch with me to say, yeah, I want to do this. So I created the web page, and at this point I'm getting involved in a lot of things in Vancouver that are startup community stuff, and accelerator, funding and accelerator, to talk to other startup businesses. I'm in a mastermind group. I'm selected to speak at a panel for Women in Tech event. So my personal profile is rising, and I'm learning so much, but in terms of the business, no money coming in and no investors yet. And then in April, I had to make the decision literally overnight because of the Brexit situation. What will I do? Will I head back to Europe, or will I stay in Canada and try and get my next work permit? Decided to return to Europe, and then that's where we are currently. Now, for the past year, unbelievably, things have ground to an almost halt because of a variety of things. Finding accommodation took forever. Money was absolutely at zero, and you were, at that point, I'm like, what am I going to do? And advice from very, very close confidants said, you have to put food on the table. Just go back and do personal training out there in your local community, get some money day to day so you can pay your bills, including rent, get that done. And then from there, pick back up once you can back on with fitmama. And because you take that bit, it's just, I'm doing fitmama on my own, and I'm doing raising a child pretty much on my own, although co-parenting for COVID has been good. But there's so much on that you have to do, that progressing at this stage of a business just takes so long. Every step just takes forever. It's very, very difficult to earn money, and it's very difficult to then, find the energy and the time to do the next step. 2020 was then going to be the year, or the first quarter, for me to say, right, okay, let me get to grips with, are we on the right platform? Should we be moving to develop our own build of an app? How are we going to do that? What's happening? I spent February speaking to, I had 5 different companies globally that were kind of pitching me for their company to build a platform for fitmama, which would then integrate fitness technology and also female technology. And eventually I had a call with a really great guy, senior engineer of a global company, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about machine learning, algorithms, and how I could get to a point where someone logs into their fitmama app and they can see that it's pushed forward. This is the 10-minute workout you should do, because with your push buttons, you've told us that you're on day 16 of your menstrual cycle. you're working away, you have a hotel room only, no gym, no outdoor park, you're in 42 degrees heat, whatever it would be, here's workout you should be doing. So I wanted to get an idea, how do we get to that stage? Because that's ideally what I want to have for my clients. And that person very honestly said, you need to get to the point where you've got millions of data points so that you can use all that data to then give machine learning a chance to throw out, this is the workout you should be doing. And top tip was start a community, build the community part. You've got your MVP, you've got a certain number of paying clients and non-paying clients and free community people. Build that up and get a community built, and then from there start building around that community. And I thought, right, okay, that's a really good idea. I also saw that iOS, I don't know if it was 14 or 15, would then be developing, they had to put in IP protection or patents for iOS 14 or 15 to then for their fitness app, and there was no payment gateway there. So I kind of thought, actually, it looks to me like iOS are going to be doing a really super cool drop of their fitness app, and it's going to be amazing. So, you know, I should maybe pull off the accelerator a little bit on all the fitness stuff and push on with all the community stuff and sit where I am, which is on the Mighty Networks platform. I was boosted because I saw another female-driven community business that I follow a lot in the States move on to a bespoke Mighty Networks app as well, and it really boosted me because I just felt like Mighty Networks was kind of a replacement Facebook page, which I really didn't want to have. And actually, when I saw this other company had clearly paid for the pro version, they had their own app, and I looked and I thought, wow, if it's good enough for them, and they're pulling in top people to be interviewed on their app. It's a female, I'm not going to say it's a female LinkedIn, but something like that. And I kind of thought, well, actually, if they're doing that, I can definitely do the same. So made that decision, and then we had lockdown. So pretty much for the last year, I've been ready to go for finance and haven't pulled it out and gone for it. And now we're sitting in May, and I think, okay, now is the time to do it. And the reason now is the time to do it is because all of these parents who are now at home, work from home with kids, are crying out for fitness solutions, for mental wellness solutions. And so all of these other apps that I look and follow and love, all of fitness apps and meditation apps and community-based apps are thriving. And I had a friend who's not a parent say to me, oh, fitmama must have gone absolutely bananas since the lockdown. And I was like, yeah, no, it's not. And the reason it's not is because nobody knows about us. Nobody knows about us because there's no marketing, there's no advertising, because there's no budget. So it really, brought home to me, okay, COVID for me has been a really good time to then say, okay, where do I take the business next? And that's why I decided to start this video series to say, look, we're starting from zero. I'm a female founder. I don't have rich people alongside me to tap into. I'm a single parent. I have been scrapping about with this business for quite some time. I think it's in a really good position. It's got a good reputation. I think it's ready now to push on to the next level. What does that next level look like, and how do I get there? So this is a very, very long intro video. After this, there will be very short videos just to say where my progress is going. Step one for me is to try to onboard some existing communities onto my fitmama platform, either for free or to pay a minimum amount so that I can get more clients on board and reach that first 100 client target. And I also want to bring on board a corporate. I really want to bring on board somebody who's a corporate company where their parent employees can come on to either the fitmama club or a fit papa club. That's a private club for them, sealed for them, and to bring them on board, because the HR side of fitmama is really where I want to push the business. From there, I also want to be starting to create an ideal list of people that I can reach out to. And that's going to be the most difficult thing because, like I said, I don't have a network of rich people that I can just say, hey, do you have a spare 10K, 20K, 100K kicking about? I don't have that. So that's the difficult piece for me. I will be really approaching people who are business angels and who can understand what it is that I'm trying to offer. It's very difficult as well because from what I can see, a lot of the people with the cash and the money appear to be men. And I was in a conference call last week with a bunch of entrepreneurs, and I was saying, you know, our platforms for postpartum. And he interrupted and said, what's postpartum? And that that alone was just, for me, it was just like, oh, are you serious? Okay. So maybe I'm so used to using this terminology that I'm totally forgetting that other people have no idea what postpartum means or postnatal. So I really am, at this point now, I just want to go straight to women who are mothers and say to them, I'd like you to invest. And the crowd equity raise will allow you to invest from as little as $1,500. You know, it's you that I want to invest in this company. Or the new dad who, we recently opened a fitmama club, the new dad who can see, oh, this is actually a bit of a nightmare trying to juggle everything. Yeah, there should be something out there that I can invest in. So that's going to be the first steps. And I'm going to keep you up to date with everything that I do as I do it, and let you know where this business takes us. My son and I we are relocating country soon. And when we do that, we will be in a position where I might then qualify for accelerators or funding. So that'll be quite exciting. Never been in a position where I qualify for any government female founders or startup grants or money. So maybe our move will open that door. But I wanted to give some hope to other female founders out there as well. You know, one of the statistics of packing in your startup is that you lose momentum, confidence in yourself, you lose that kind of traction, you lose the support. And I can feel it, you know, when I hear my nearest and dearest say, oh, you still doing that fitmama thing? I just want to cry because I just think, yeah, yeah, of course I am. It's my business. You've really just got to not take that side so personally and just, you know, keep walking forward and saying, okay, well, I don't like pitch decks. I don't like pitching. What else can I do? Who can I bring on board that can help me and drive things forward? And it's a really interesting process as well, because you look at the difference between female founders and male founders. When I relocated back into Europe, a male founder who had no business experience at all, none. He comes from a science background and he was creating a science-based business. And he put out a request for head of strategy, head of marketing, head of sales, whatever. And I got in touch because I was interested to find out what he was doing. And it was pro bono work he was offering. And you know something? He managed to pull together a team of about 10 people, all working for free, offering their expertise just to get him a couple of steps forward in his business. And I kind of thought, wow, that takes a lot of balls to do that. But at the same time, he actually did achieve what he was setting out to do because he had people helping him out. So maybe I need to take that approach and just ask, can somebody who's really good at sales come on board? Can somebody else who's really good at you know, asking for money come out, you know, come and help me out? And maybe that's the next step. So this is a very long introduction video, but moving from this, I'll do shorter updates on a weekly basis just to say what I've achieved and how, just let's see how tough it is for us to get to the next stage. I hope it's not going to be that tough, but who knows? Thanks for listening. If you've got any advice, feel free to give me an email and drop me a message. And if you fancy investing and you'd like to look at that invest page that I've got, password protected, then let me know and I'll send you the password. And let's take it from there. So this is step 1. Let's see where I get to. Thanks for listening, and thanks for your support.